Well, hello Booktube. I've got a new tag for you. Um, I've been thinking a bit about tags just recently, for one reason or another. One reason is because a couple of weeks ago I tagged Emily of Novell Novels in a tag that I did, and she came back with a comment saying, "Oh, lovely, thanks for the tag. I'll 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 slot that in late April." And bearing in mind this was February, I thought, my goodness, that woman is organised. That made me realise that when it comes to tags, I'm certainly not. And so I was thinking of doing a little ramble uh, about tags, and then I realised that the properly kind of self-referential and slightly meta thing to do would be to do a tag about tags. So here it is, and I'm throwing it out there for you to have fun with if you like. So, prompt number one: tag firsts. Did you do the Booktube Newbie Tag? If not, do you remember what was your first tag? And do you watch Booktube Newbie Tags? Now, I did do the Booktube Newbie Tag, but not as the first tag that I did. I didn't even know the Booktube Newbie Tag existed, really, and so I didn't do it till nearly a good 6 weeks, nearly 2 months into having a channel, when I saw someone talking about it and saying how they suggesting that it was a good thing to do as a new booktuber, which is true. There's more than one version of it. In fact, I've realised since, and you can kind of pick the one that appeals to you most. I do know that I had done a couple of tags before that. I think the first tag I did was the New Year book tag, and that was because I'd only I think I put up 2 videos. I literally just started the channel, and dear kind Steve Donahue tagged me in the New Year Booktube tag, in the way that he does. He kind of tries to sort of encourage brand new booktubers, and it worked because here I am, a year and a bit later. There you go, and it got me tagging. Do I watch Booktube Newbie Tags? Yeah, if someone recommends a new booktuber to, I mean, I'm not so new booktuber, but a booktuber that I don't already know, and I go and have a little fish around their channel to see if I might like to subscribe, I might well watch their Booktube Newbie Tag if it's there and easy to find. And for that reason, my advice to a new booktuber would be to definitely do it, but maybe don't make it the first video that you make. Wait till you're a little bit more, well, unless you're incredibly comfortable in front of the camera for some reason before you start a channel, you don't maybe want it to be the first thing that you do. So that was first. Prompt number two: tag emotions. What are the emotions that tags kind of bring up for you? Is it tag joy, tag delight, tag boredom, tag resentment, tag guilt or anxiety, perhaps, even tag envy? Well, when I see that I'm tagged, I do get a little kind of rosy glow of taggy happiness just because someone's thought of me. I feel quite, yeah, quite touched or quite honoured sometimes. It's a lovely thing, and I think sometimes when I do a tag, I forget to sort of think about who I'm going to tag at the end of it, and I realise that it's actually really important. It's a lovely way to link up with other booktubers and to encourage kind of new booktubers. So yeah, I do get that glow, and sometimes I get a little burst of delight when I think, yeah, that's a tag I really fancy doing. I'm going to really enjoy that one. Um, if I get a real feeling of sort of tag boredom, I'll probably just sort of pretend I haven't seen it. I definitely, though, suffer from tag guilt and anxiety. I am constantly anxious about tags I ought to have done and haven't done, which is ridiculous because, it's all for fun, isn't it? And this sense of guilt that someone may have, well, either that someone's tagged me and I've forgotten to do the tag, or they've tagged me and I haven't noticed, and that just seems really rude. Um, so please remind me or point out to me if you tag me and I don't seem to have noticed it, because we can't all watch every video all the time. I have like weeks when I hardly watch any, and then other weeks when I watch lots. And if you did it in the week when I didn't get to watch any, it's not that I'm meaning to ignore you. It's just, you know, you can't go back and catch up on everything, can you? I also sometimes get a little bit anxious about doing a tag well, if it's one that needs a bit of kind of preparation. Um, I remember, oh, getting on for a year ago, there was a really good tag. I think Brian of Bookish might have come up with it. It was the Sex in Books tag, and Sean the Book Maniac tagged me, and I never did it. And he did remind me more than once, I have to say. And it wasn't because I'm prudish and I don't like talking about sex. I just couldn't think. I couldn't think. I think I just blot out boring sex scenes from books I've read. So trying to sort of dredge up enough to talk about was completely beyond me, and so I never did it. I have suffered from tag envy, and I will give you one particular example, which was this last Christmas, just gone. There was a tag going around the nativity tag, and I saw um, the version of that tag done by the font. That's Barb and Isabella, and that was so outrageous and delightful and funny that I just thought, oh, why can't I do tags that well? And she's a brand new booktuber, and I felt completely, I felt tag inadequate, if anything. No, but I did definite tag envy because, yeah, it was so good. Prompt number 3, tag favourites or not. So, what kind of tag do you most like to do, or least like to do, or most like to watch, or least like to watch? Favourites and unfavourites. I really like tags that prompt a bit of a conversation around booktube on a theme perhaps, or bring out people's kind of bookish habits. Yeah, I'd say they were my favourites. Like Scott and Nelle of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot are the queen and king of that sort of tag, having done the DNF tag and the spoiler tag. And you can tell I like that sort of tag because here I am doing a tag about tags. And my other sort of tag that I created was about rereading, because I'm interested in having that kind of conversation. My least favourite sort of tag are ones that are not really about books. I know people kind of like to talk about other things, like, I don't know, films or television or whatever, but it's all about the books as far as I'm concerned. That's what I'm here for, so I'm not as interested in those. And some tags do become a bit kind of repetitive, seem to go over old ground. Now, a kind of going over old ground that I like are tags that get people to kind of draw on their reading backlist, as it were. Things, whether good things and bad things from their kind of books they've read in the past. Yeah, I like watching those. I'm not always as keen on doing them because sometimes they can be harder work to prepare, and I'm definitely a bit of a lazy taggist. I'm not too keen on tags that involve an awful lot of thought and preparation, which brings me to prompt number 4. What is your tag style? Um, do you have a system to make sure you remember to notice that you've been tagged and remember to do them? Um, do you prepare tags, or are you fairly spontaneous? Do you kind of back them up and tick them off? Yeah, what's your tag style? I find I'm most likely to do a tag if it's one I can do relatively quickly and I get on and do it fairly spontaneously, like within, maybe like that same Tuesday, if it's tagged Tuesday, or the following week. If I get onto it fast, I'm more likely to do it. I um if I start worrying about it, I probably won't do it. If it's not being fun. Hannah did a wonderful, wonderful tag about your ideal bookish dinner party. Who would you put together and why? And it was a really clever, thoughtful tag that I felt I ought to do. In fact, I think she tagged me. Um, and then I just couldn't because it was almost, yeah, too hard. And then Leo of A Little Book Life rescued me by doing a version of that tag, which was so smart and so funny that I could just sit back and say, there's no point in me attempting to do this tag because Leo has done the perfect version. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I I know there was one tag that I left a very long time between being tagged and actually doing it. And that was the Penguin Classics tag, which I think Steve Donahue started, but I was tagged by Jay Shea. And honestly, I think it was about 6 months before I got around to doing it. And it wasn't because I didn't like the tag, because I did, but because it needed that bit of preparation. But it was one where I was committed enough to want to do that. So I had to wait till I had like a few days off at home and time to go around and count my Penguin Classics and pull out favourites and yeah, be ready to kind of answer all those great Penguin Classics-y questions. So yes, my style is, I guess, is lazy, but not totally. Prompt number 5, and the last prompt: tag memories. From tags you've done or watched or created, um, which are the ones that stick in your mind? And are there any that you'd like to revive or revisit? So one that stuck in my mind is the coronavirus tag from last March, and that's partly because they were good questions, but also because it just seems like another world now. And I think, my goodness, how naive I was when I was doing that tag in what I imagined the impact of coronavirus would be. So, yeah, that one certainly stayed with me. Um, Probably my happiest tag memory ever is the random 20 questions tag, which I did about 6 months ago. And that was because it was in that little window of opportunity when we were able in the UK to meet up with family that aren't in our local, that we don't live with. And I did that tag with Alfred, my son, and Tilly of Tilly's Shelf, my daughter, and we just had a blast doing that tag. I think Hannah tagged me, and she did not know what she was letting loose, I'll tell you. It was such a giggle. And some tags, I think, are real hardy perennials. They can come round at intervals usefully. And an example of that is Mark Nash did like, oh, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, a last 10 books tag, and which was just recently revived, I think, by Reina of Rainier Books. And yeah, it's a classic tag that you could do. It can come round at intervals, and that you as an individual could do at intervals, because it relates to the last books you did in various categories. Um, there's a kind of end of the year tag that I think comes around every year, and that's great too. So the leap year book tag ought to come around every 4 years. That was a good one. So yeah, there are some that I do like to see kind of come up again. There is one very special tag which I personally intend to revive, and that is the My Neck of the Woods tag, which Kelly of Books I'm Not Reading created in August 2018, I believe. And when I started a channel, she said, "Oh, why don't you do My Neck of the Woods tag?" And I thought, oh, yes, I should. And here we are, a year and a bit later, and I still haven't done it. But I very much want to, and the reason that I haven't done it up to now is because it's a tag that I really want to do justice to, because it's a good tag, and because Sussex is such a brilliant area to do it about. So my resolution is that I will do that tag and revive it, um, even when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Just under 950 at the moment, so it could happen, fingers crossed, in the not so near future, and then I will jolly well do that tag. And so that's all my prompts. Anyone who watches this, please, please, feel tagged and be ready to have a go. But I will specifically tag all the people that I have mentioned in the course of this video, and that is, I think, Steve Donahue. I'm looking back on my notes to check. Brian of Bookish, Sean the Book Maniac, Hannah of Hannah's Books, and anyone. Oh, have I forgotten anyone? Jay Shea, that's right, and Kelly of Books I'm Not Reading. I think that's all of you. And and one more. I meant to say that one of the reasons why I might try to do a tag when I might not otherwise is when it's a new tag, like a newer booktuber's first time ever creating a tag, and the one of those that I've most enjoyed just recently is the A to Z series of tags by Jim of reading books and stuff. So I'm going to tag Jim too, and yeah, just as a thank you and an encouragement to new booktubers to, yeah, try creating a tag.